guys, what's up? It's Jess and Josh here, and it is finally time again for another wrap-up.
Let's get into it.
So this last month I didn't read quite as much as I thought I was going to. I am in the process of getting a new job and switching to another job, so it's been a little bit crazy. And then we started watching more TV and movies this month, I think, so that cut down on our read time. But I still had plenty of audiobooks that I listened to at work, and so I will start with those. So the first book that I listened to this past month was actually a biography. It was called Jack, A Life of C.S. Lewis by George Sayer. Then I listened to The Help by Catherine Stockett, and that was followed by The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton. Then I listened to All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. Then I listened to An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Then after watching the Disney movie Tarzan, I picked up the first 3 audiobooks of the Tarzan series because it's been on my TBR for a while and I've always kind of wanted to check out what the original book was like. So I read the first 3. The first in that series is Tarzan and the Apes, followed by The Return of Tarzan and The Beasts of Tarzan, all by Edgar Rice Burroughs. I am actually currently in the process of reading the 4th book, and then I think I'll probably stop after that because the series just isn't as good as the first book, so yeah. So for the books I actually read this month, I actually only had 2 that I completed this month because, again, like I said, we started like the Miyazaki movie marathon I mentioned in a Friday Reads video, and just been doing other things that haven't been reading related, so yeah. So these 2 books are The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan and Magonia by Maria Devana Headley. So yeah, I actually have 2 other books that I've kind of started. I don't know if I will finish them before the end of the day, but they are Dead End in Norvelts, which is by Jack Gantos. This is for a real life book club that I am part of. Yeah, I'm not particularly enjoying it a lot so far, and I'm not sure if I'll finish it today, but I have started it and I'm almost halfway through, so I might before the end of. And the last book is Gilgamesh, translation by Hubert Mason. This is a book that I've read before a long time ago, and this is a reread for me. It's really short, as you can see, so I'm kind of hoping to get through it possibly today, but again, I'm not sure if I will get to it or not, so we'll see. So total right now, I have read 10 books this past month with a possible 11 or 12 and maybe 13 because we are trying to finish Series of Unfortunate Events as well, so it'll probably be like 11 books because I'm sure I'll get one of these read. So we'll just say 10 for right now.
Okay, so this month I got a lot more than May, which was good. But the first book I read was Twerp by Mark Goldblatt, Loot by Jude Watson, and that was like in my TBR, but nothing really appealed to me, so I decided to read some good old Goosebumps, and I read the Night of the Living Dummy trilogy, which includes Night of the Living Dummy, Night of the Living Dummy 2, and Night of the Living Dummy 3. Okay, and then my last book, our last book, which you mentioned, Series of Unfortunate Events, The Austere Academy, which we'll hopefully try and finish, but I think we will. We can read pretty fast.
Yeah. So those are all the books that we read this month. We would like to highlight 2 or 3 of those, so we will do that now. So the first books that I want to talk about were the Tarzan series books. So like I said earlier, Tarzan of the Apes was kind of a book that I had been meaning to read for a long time. As a kid, I had heard that it was a book after watching the movie. Someone had told me, and I kind of always wanted to read it, but then I never had enough interest to read it, so I listened to it now after watching it with you a couple nights a few weeks ago. And yeah, it actually turned out to be a lot better of a book than I thought it would be, and the first one was Tarzan and the Apes, and it was just a lot was actually pretty decently well written. It was really entertaining and exciting and compelling, so I really enjoyed listening to that. I think it was one of those series or books that it really only should have been one book. It shouldn't have been 24, because the second book was it was kind of dull actually for most of the book. It was okay, and then the third book was just hilariously like bad in my opinion. And the fourth one, I actually did pick up the fourth one because I was like, I was finishing up work and I wanted to listen to audiobooks, but I didn't really want anything that was super long, and these books were incredibly short. So yeah, I listened to the fourth a little bit, and I'm about halfway through it, and I'm probably going to finish it. And that one's actually a little bit better, but I don't think I will continue with the series after this. I think I have my fix now. I think I'm good. So the next book that I wanted to highlight was Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan. I actually finally finished this. It took me a while because for a while there I was kind of reading off and on. Unfortunately, I hate to say this because I really enjoyed the first two. This one, I think one reason why it was off and on for me was because I just wasn't being grabbed as much with this one as it was the first two, so it took me a little bit longer, and I also was a little bit busy. So yeah, finding time to read this was hard, or a little harder. Yeah, I still really enjoyed it. I still love the characters and the story, and I'm definitely going to continue and finish the last two, but I can see why I've heard that other people, like, this is their least favorite book in this series. It was a lot of setting up for, like, I think the next couple books. Instead of like being more, I mean, there was its own adventure and everything, but I felt like it was just a lot more setup, and yeah, it just didn't grab me as much. It was a little bit more of a disappointment after the first two, but yeah. The last book that I want to quick talk about was The Help by Kathryn Stockett. As a lot of you probably know or heard of, the film came out a few 2-3 years ago. I don't remember how long now. I had actually seen the movie before I had listened to this book, and I really liked it, and I knew I'd probably really like the book, but I didn't actually finally get to listening to the audiobook until this summer, and it was just perfect. I really enjoyed it. I could not recommend it more. If you're interested in historical fiction, or even if you're not interested in historical fiction, it's really good. Yeah, I think this is the first book in a really long time that actually made me almost cry. Like, I did actually start tearing up by the end. It was just, oh, it's so good. And it was just bad because I was at work, so yeah, people were looking over at me wondering why I was kind of spontaneously bursting into tears. So, but yeah, that is the third book that I guess I really want to talk about for this month.
Okay, so I have two books I want to talk about, and the first one is Twerp by Mark Goldblatt, and I really enjoyed this one actually. To me, there was never really a dull moment, and I was always interested in what was going to happen in this boy's adventures, and yeah, it was really good, and I'm glad I read it. And the second book I want to talk about is Loot, and when I picked this up, I thought it was going to be like it wouldn't be bad, but I didn't think it was going to be great either, but it turned out to be great. I really enjoyed it. I was always interested, and there's like a good amount of cliffhangers at the end of each chapter, and that really helped me keep on reading it. So I would suggest for you guys to read it too.
And that concludes our wrap-up for June. We will see you guys soon with another video. Hope your guys' reading went well. Can't wait to see some of your videos. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Bye! Bye.